Hey internet, how are you doing today? Lovely day here in sunny Shropshire, and something a little bit different today. I watch a lot of YouTube videos, I'm sure, like most of you guys do out there, and every now and again you stumble upon somebody new, and or a video pops up in your feed and you think, oh, I'll have a look at that. Well, that happened to me yesterday, and I stumbled upon a video from this guy called Freddie Dobbs, and I really suggest you check out his channel because it was really good. And it popped up in my feed because he was doing a review on the original Honda Transalp. Now, as I'm sure some of you have seen, I have my own Honda Transalp, and it is a 1987, first generation 1987 PD06 Honda Transalp in the lovely red, white and blue, you know, the HRC, I think it is HRC paint scheme, but anyway, so it's the red, white and blue one, and it's just lovely, and I love it. And you know what, sometimes I think we forget, and certainly I forget, you know, why we do these channels. And I do it because of my love of these older bikes. I remember growing up and having a poster on my bedroom wall of the Honda Transalp, and always thinking that, you know, I'd love one of those, I'd really like one of those, and I didn't. I never had one when I was younger, and I certainly went down the route of Japanese sports bikes. Really, my early bikes were, when I passed my test, I had a horrendous GPZ 305, and then I very quickly moved to, well, that broke down. I was going up this really long hill, and one of the spark plugs blew out of the cylinder, hit me on the leg as it went out, and shot across the field like a burning ember. So it went into the garage, and they lent me a Suzuki GSX 250, the blue one with the sort of the louvers down the side, and I sort of hung on to that as long as I could because I certainly didn't want the GPZ 305 back. But anyway, when I did get it back, I found another bike dealer, doesn't exist anymore, not too far from me, and I went down and had a look, and he had a 1981 W registration GPZ 550D1 in, and I just loved it. I took it out for a run. They let me road test it, and it was the fastest thing I'd ever ridden. It just blew me away. So I part exchanged the GPZ 305 in, and had that. And really from then on, for quite some time, it was just GPZ. So, I mean, I remember when I took it in, and they sent the mechanic for a road test on the GPZ 305 because it was making some awful noises. And I'd got just enough money to buy the 550. I was only young, I was 17, 18 probably. And the mechanic went for another road test when I took it, when I went in to pick it, the 550 up, and the sales guy came back out and he said, oh, you know, there's a bit of a noise from it, you know, we're not too sure what it is, we're going to knock you another 100 quid off. I can't remember what the figure was. So I think I desperately rang my mum, and she said she'd cover it for me, so I was very lucky, and I managed to get out of there with the 550. So yeah, and after that 550 it was GPZ 600R, the blue and white one, as I have now, and then after the 600R it was a GPZ 1000RX, a big red one, which was great, and then so on and so forth. So yeah, I never got round to having a Transalp, and then, you know, a few years ago one popped up on eBay. This guy had bought one, it wasn't too far away from me, 40-50 miles, and he'd bought it to, well, I think he'd done one of these 5-day courses, so he'd got his license really quick, and bought this thinking it'd be a really good bike. I think he was quite a tall chap, and they're good for people of 6 foot and more, as I find, and I don't think he liked it, or he wanted something a bit newer. So anyway, I ended up buying it, and I did some restoration work on it. But I just love it. It's rock solid, reliable. The engine's sweet as you like, with it having 2 spark plugs per cylinder. It's a really easy bike to start. They tick over really well, and it's just a good fun all-rounder bike. And the video of Freddie Dobbs really struck a chord with me, because he was saying, you know, it'll do everything. It's not perfect at anything, and you know, I completely agree with that. It's very much a bike that, you know, the suspension's a bit wallowy, and you know, the front wheel is very big, you know, but the turning circle's great. It'll accelerate well, it'll sit at motorway speeds all day long, and it's great for tootling round on. It's really comfortable. It's a nice high riding position, so you can really see what's coming up. I feel very safe on the bike. The brakes aren't the best, you know, single disc on the front and a drum on the back, but it's just a lovely bike. And I completely agree with what Freddie says, in as much as it's still a very relevant bike today. You know, you could have that as just as your only bike, and I think you'd be very happy with it. And they're not a lot of money to buy if you can find a nice good one. And as he said, I'd certainly agree. I'd definitely go for the earlier ones, the Japanese made ones. The only thing that I'm really aware of that you've got to watch out for on the PD06 is they did have a tendency to chew the drive shaft. So, you know, where the front sprocket mounts, that would burr off, or, you know, the splines would wear off. And if that happens, you've got to swap the gearbox out, or certainly that shaft in the gearbox. So that's the only thing really to look for. Oh, and the other thing is the wheels rot out, so you have to be a bit careful with them. But, you know, that aside, there's not really a lot more to go wrong with them. They're not really very technical where electronics is concerned or anything like that. So anyway, so it inspired me to think, yeah, I'm going to get it out and give it a bit of a clean. So that's what I'm going to do today. It's only going to be a short video, but I thought I'd give you a bit of an introduction to my lovely Honda Transalp, which I neglect really. You know, I just don't get the time to use it. Very much like the RD350LC, which I absolutely adore. That, you know, they just don't go out very much, and these bikes are for using. The whole thing about the Rideable Classics channel was really to try and encourage people to buy some of these older bikes. The GPZ600Rs, they are such a great bike. They're you know, they're fast, they're quick, they're really nimble. You know, they're not the, you know, I've had new modern bikes. My last new modern bike was an FJR 1300, you know, full of tech, and it was a very, very good bike. I mean, it was a super bike. But I can have just as much fun on the Transalp, if not more, really, you know, because on something like the FJR, they're rocket fast, and you know, you have to be really careful all the time. But with the smaller bikes, you know, you can rev them right up, you know, when you're running them along, and really work them, and sort of stay within the boundaries of the law, you know, so you're not going to, you know, do too much, really. So anyway, yeah, I'm just going to get the Transalp out, give you a bit of a walk around it, just so you can have a look. But yeah, thanks to Freddie for that. And as I say, check out his channel. It's got a lot of good stuff on there. Yeah, thanks very much. And let's get the bike out and have a look. Okay. Sitting for a while. Not sure if there's any fuel on it. Oh yeah. So I put fuel stabilizer in it last year, so you know, we'd have no bad fuel issues. Should we just see if it'll start? 1987 PD06 Honda 600V Transalp, German import. It's had a few owners in this country. I think it was the 90s when it came over from Germany. It wasn't all that old when it did come over from Germany. 58,000 kilometres on the clock. Don't know how accurate that is, but it rides really well, so there it is, all nice and clean again. What do you think? I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, and they didn't sell very well in this country, like Freddie had mentioned on his channel, but big seller in Europe, and always favourite with me. It's like I say, I just love the bike, so yeah, all good. That's about it. Drop me any comments if you like the bike, or if you have one. And I know I often get a lot of waves from people when I take it out. It's getting ready to want him doing again, really. I could do with painting the frame. Yeah, all good. So I hope you enjoyed this little video. It really is just a bit of a show and tell on the Transalp. Hope you liked it. Okay, see you next time. Thank you.